Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday in the UK. It is 8ish PM, probably, unless you're watching somewhere else or at a different time, in which case you're not in the UK and or it's not 8 PM. It's Quizcazoatl Lite, the publess pub quiz for the recorded live event that is the Ado Free To Do, which I am about to do. Not sure whether that really counts as a slogan, but we can build on it. If you are new to the Quizcazoatl Publish Pub Quiz, welcome. You have our slightly less competitive off-weeks like version. The second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, we run Quizcazoatl Lite. How, I hear you ask me, does this differ from the standard Quizcazoatl Publish Pub Quiz? Well, mainly, I'm not here. I was actually here yesterday. Exciting, isn't it? What this means in practice is that you will not be able to interact with me, and we will not be administering the marking system that we do on our full Quizcazoatls. So, if you are playing today, I invite you, follow along, write your answers down, mark at home. Feel free to post your scores to the message board. Jane and I did these questions a little bit earlier, and the two of us got a middling 91. Oh, it wasn't that bad for two people who haven't seen any new culture in 20 years. So I guess most of you will be able to beat 91, but see how you do. We do not have the answer sheet, so ignore the answer link, but we do have picture sheets available. The pictures are going to flash up on the plinth, but if you prefer to have them all in one go, as ever, you can go to quizcazoatl_pictures, bit.ly, quizcazoatl_pictures, and get them in PDF and image format, as you prefer. Don't bother going to quizcazoatl_answers, though. Because nobody will be marking your sheets this week. Save that for next time. The Quizcazoatl Publish Pub Quiz is a quiz in 4 parts. I will be running for round 1 through a series of trivia questions and the first 7 of our pictures. After each one, I will use our patented Quizcazoatl Lite pause button. When I hit my pause button, that's the signal for you to pause at home until you are ready to go to the next question. If you find yourself all tangled up and blue, then you can always rewind the feed. And unlike the full quiz, you don't even need to bother about catching up. You can just go through in whichever order you like. It is in your control. Isn't that a good feeling? No, not that hectoring that I normally give you to get your answers in. Much nicer. Anyway, we will go on immediately to question number 1. And here's an easy one for you. Motorists in France should drive on which side of the road? Motorists in France should drive on which side of the road? Okay, that's more than enough time for you to do that one. Let's go to question 2 as well. The United States national parks, the Gates of the Arctic and Glacier Bay, or Glacier Bay if you prefer, are located in which American state? The US national parks, Gates of the Arctic and Glacier Bay are located in which state? Question 3 takes us to the first of our pictures for today, and we have 6 likely looking characters for you. This week they come in 3 pairs. We have pairs of unrelated individuals sharing a surname. Can you tell me the 2 names? 2 names in 3 pairs means 6 people in total. That means 6 points available on this one. Back to the main questions, and it's question number 4. Which TV personality and former TOWIE star I know who Townley is. I'm not sure about Towie. He published, however, or she, published an autobiography called Being a Ream. Which TV personality and former Towie star published an autobiography called Being Ream? Sounds painful. Question number 5 for you. Mallorca and Menorca don't be like where they ought to, unless you correctly identify them in which Spanish island group. Mallorca and Menorca are islands in which Spanish island group? For question number 6, we have some more Venn diagrams for you. Can you work out what could fit into the question marks on those 3 mystery sets? 3 question marks, 3 points available. Onwards to question number 7. What word can be added to green, gold, and bull to make the common names of 3 types of bird? What word can be added to green, gold, and bull to make the common names of 3 types of bird? And numero wheat. Name 3 official Disney princesses. Apparently there are 12 now. Imagine that. Whose names begin with an M. Can you name me 3 Disney princesses whose names begin with the letter M? And before you ask, no, not even half a point. Third picture of the day for question number 9, and we got you some vegetables. Can you name these variously obscure plant objects? 6 plant objects, all vegetables apparently. 6 points available. Question number 10. We've got you some travel questions. You'll be able to travel again soon, although don't be doing the flying because of the climate changes. Innit? Just walk. Venice International Airport, long walk, is named after which Venetian merchant and adventurer born in 1254? Not to be confused with Marvin Martian. Venice International Airport is named after which Venetian merchant and adventurer? He was born in 1254. Question number 11 now. Who was the most recent man to score a goal for England in a FIFA World Cup Finals tournament? Who was the most recent man to score a goal for England in a FIFA World Cup Finals tournament? Now on to the pictures again. Question number 12 takes us to picture number 4, and I have 5. Stills from films. Can you tell me what these 5 films are? For a bit of a clue and a bonus point, can you also tell me the actor who appears in all 5? Onwards to question number 13. In Scottish law, culpable homicide is roughly equivalent to what offence in English and Welsh law? In Scottish law, culpable homicide is roughly equivalent to what offence in English and Welsh law? And question 14 has another picture for us. We've got some predictive text for you. Jane and I didn't do that well all round, but we got these soon as look at them. That may or may not be a clue for you. The first one I got before I'd even looked at the first one. So use your noose. See what you can do. 2 things that can go after living. Jack those imaginary thumbs on your 3 2 10s. And question 15. Which streaming service, launched all the way back in June 2011, allows content creators? Content creators is a euphemism for person recording self onto internet. It can cover a multitude of sins. Can you imagine dignifying any old twit who records his blather and sticking it onto the internet as a content creator? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, 2011, content creators, video stream, videos, yada yada yada. 1 point. Question number 16. Which English author, who had the first names James Graham, wrote Empire of the Sun, Crash, and High Rise? Which English author with the first names James Graham wrote Empire of the Sun, Crash, and High Rise? Another picture for you coming in for picture number 6. And we have 4 logos. Can you tell me what is represented by each of these 4 logos? 4 points available. On to question 18, approaching the end of round 2. Now, the rhyme gets easier over time. At this point, it's died, because it all happened 500 years ago. But who was the 4th wife of Henry VIII? One of the ones who died. May she rest in peace. Who was the 4th wife of King Henry VIII? And let's depause. Panic. Depause. Picture 7 for question 19, our last picture for round 1. Can you tell me who these 4 individuals are? The one on the left looks like one of my brother's friends. Do you know who I mean? Any family watching? Anyway, I don't think it's him though. 4 people, all born the same year. Can you tell me their forenames? And for a 5th point, the year they were born. We'll give you plus or minus 1 year either way. And finally, for round 1, the 1918 flu pandemic, sounds terrible, was better known by what name due to a false impression of a particular country being especially hard hit? What nationalised name was given to the 1918 flu pandemic due to the sense that a particular country had been hit hard? Well, that is the end of round 1. I'm going to put up the pause button. So, twiddle your thumbs, get your answers straight, talk among yourselves. Come back tomorrow. You've got options. When we come back, in what for me will be a matter of only seconds, it's like time travel, we will be doing the music round. Alrighty, welcome back everybody. In our Quizcazoatl music round, as our regulars full well know, we are going to play you 6 songs spanning the decades from the 1960s into the 1970s, into the 80s, 90s, and finally the 2000s and 10s. All you have to do is identify the song and the performing artist, what is performing it. I'll warn you in advance, sometimes there are 2 artists on a song. In those cases, half a point for each. 6 songs, 2 pieces of information each, 12 points available on the music round.
Came upon me and it pleased me. So sleep, silent angel, go to sleep. Sometime.
Let me tell you, damn guys ain't dumb. Maybe get a blister on your little finger. Maybe get a blister on your thumb. We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries. We got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs.
Always when we fight, I kiss you once or twice, and everything's forgotten. I know you hate that. I love you Sunday, sun. The week's not yet begun, and everything is quiet, and it's all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric, and now when she told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a mecha double or a betting pencil? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory, and those dreams weren't as daft as they seem.
I don't believe anymore. Don't believe anymore. 'Cause all we know is gone and cold. I don't believe anymore. Don't agree anymore.
Alrighty. And that was the music. It has occurred to me that seeing as you're watching a recording, I can just invite you to play those again for yourself if you want to. So this week I'm making that entirely optional. You can use the guitar to visually identify when I started playing them. I'm sure that some people will be absolutely up in arms about this, but it does make it slightly easier at my end. Cuts down on the number of strums I need to do. Anyway, seeing as we have just had our music round, I better give you a pause, hadn't I, to deal with all this, and then we're going to be coming back for the round 1 marking. Alrighty then, round 1 marking, here we go. For question 1, we asked you, in France, on which side of the road should motorists drive? The answer, of course, was right. Right for the point. Question 2, the gates of the Arctic and Glacier Bay are located in Alaska. Probably guessed that if you didn't know it. Question 3, our unrelated conomans were first off Amy and Nicola Adams. Then we had Calvin and Naomi Harris. And finally we had Jules and Tom Holland. Amy and Nicola Adams, Calvin and Naomi Harris, and Jules and Tom Holland. I'm reminded, I should admit, having said that Jane and I got 91 on today's quiz, really I meant Jane, me and Lawrence, because we need his help on such matters. So it was, strictly speaking, there were 3 of us involved. Take it all back. Question 4. We asked a former TV personality, or a TV personality and former Towie star, is Joey Essex. Joey Essex, Essex by name, and I know nothing else about the man. Question 5. Majorca and Menorca are islands in the Balearics. The Balearics for a point there. Takes us to our second picture for question 6. Some Venn diagrams. First off, we had types of tomato, types of meat. That was, of course, beef. We'll also take beefsteak, and we will even allow bison. If anyone's put bison, give yourself a point for bison. Question 2, it was Liverpool, where body parts and pub games meet British cities. And finally, we had smoothie. That was drinks meets radio stations with an E on the end. Question 7, we had green, gold and bull are all finches. Finch for the point. Question 8, are Disney princesses? I must admit, I'd only heard of one of these. Merida apparently is the name of the Amy Adams lookalike in Brave. Then Moana, I really don't know at all, but I gather maybe a Hawaiian, something like this, Hawaiian name. And finally, Mulan. Mulan is just about old enough for me to have paid attention. Merida, Moana, and Mulan. Question 9. 6 vegetables. First off, we had the Jerusalem artichoke. Then we had samphire, not to be confused with sapphire. The samphire, if you put sapphire, give yourself half a point. Third one is the butternut squash. Then we have the kohlrabi. Difficult to spell that. Be generous to yourself. The spelling, if you were wondering, is Kohlrabi. That next one, which looks a bit like a shepherd's crook in vegetable form, is a fiddlehead. Imagine that. It is actually called a fiddlehead. And finally, we had a water chestnut. 6 points for Jerusalem artichoke, samphire, butternut squash, kohlrabi, fiddlehead, and water chestnut. Question 10. Venice International Airport is named after Marco Polo. Marco Polo for a point. And for question 11, the most recent England scorer in the FIFA World Cup finals is Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier. Question 12. 5 films and an actor. The cartoon on the left was apparently Quest for Camelot, with those 2 dragons who look like every comedy sidekick in every kids' thing ever. Then we had a Eurovision Song Contest, the Story of Fire Saga. If you put the Saga of Fire Story, no point for you. Then we had Mrs. Doubtfire, I'm sure you all got that, and Mars Attacks. And finally, with Simon Pegg, it was The World's End. And the actor across all of those is Pierce Brosnan, sometime 007 himself. Pierce Brosnan, 6 points there. Quest for Camelot, Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. Mrs. Doubtfire, Mars Attacks, The World's End, and Pierce Brosnan. Question 13. Culpable homicide is Scottish for manslaughter. Manslaughter there. Then question 14. Our predictive texts were Livin' La Vida Loca and Living on a Prayer. La Vida Loca and On a Prayer for 2 points. Question 15. The streaming service launched in 2011, which allows content creators, vis-a-vis people playing computer games in their bedrooms, to stream video games while interacting with viewers, vis-a-vis asking other people watching their computers in their bedrooms to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. It's Twitch. Question 16. The English author named James Graham, writing Empire of the Sun, Crash and High Rise, is J.G. Ballard. J.G. Ballard for the point. And for 17 we had some logos. They were Suzuki. Then we had Mensa. The M makes a table, and Mensa is of course Latin for table, as all of you Mensa members certainly would have known. Then the Independent has that eagle or some such. And we finish with the smart car. C for smart car, sort of. Question 18. Sorry, that was Suzuki, Mensa, the Independent, and smart car. Question 18. The fourth wife of Henry VIII was Anne of Cleves. Anne of Cleves for the point there. And then question 19. 4 people and a birth year. We were looking for Lin-Manuel Miranda, then Zooey Deschanel, Channing Tatum, or Tatum, and Rebel Wilson, and they were all born apparently right the way back in 1980. We would accept anything between 79 and 81 for that 6th bonus point. 6 points for Lin-Manuel Miranda, Zooey Deschanel, Channing Tatum, Rebel Wilson, and 1980. And finally, the 1918 flu pandemic was, of course, the Spanish flu. Spanish flu. I'll give you a pause for a minute. Do as you will. When I come back, it's going to be time to go to round number 2. Alrighty, back for round 2. We'll do some music round marking in a little bit, but our first question of the new round is an anagram. We are asking you, can you rearrange the letters of Rat Trap Wickets to reveal the name of a famous man? RATTRAPWICKETS. It is a famous man. On to round 2, number 2. A nut, in the culinary sense. Which edible seeds are used in pesto sauce? Which edible seeds? They are a nut in the culinary, perhaps more than strictly biological sense. Which edible seeds are used in pesto sauce? On to our first picture of our second round, and it is picture number 8. We've got some more colourful films for you. Each of these initialised movies has a colour in the title. We've given you the years for a little bit of an extra hint. 4 points available. On to question 4, and it is Peerage for Berks. In the British peerage, the daughter of a duke, a marquess, or an earl has the right, although it's very funny business, rights in the modern era. I'm pretty sure any idiot could do this, but fine. Has the right to put which courtesy title in front of her name? In the British peerage, the daughter of a duke, marquess, or earl has the right to put which courtesy title in front of her name? Question number 5. What informal term for a boss is also the name given to a chief electrician on a film set? What informal term for a boss is also the name given to a chief electrician on a film set? On to another picture. Picture number 9 for question number, what are we even on? 6 of round 2. We have got some people when they were younger. Can you tell me who these whippersnappers grew up into? 6 faces means that there are 6 points available. And for question number 7, I ask you what data storage items, particularly popular in the 1990s and 2000s, for any younger players, those were an era in which you didn't just get everything immediately on your phone. Can you imagine that? Which data storage items, popular in the 90s and 2000s, were stored in jewel cases? What data storage items were stored in jewel cases? Question number 8. It's another audio clip. I am going to play you 3 voices. Listen to what they say, listen to how they say it, and see if you can work out who they are. I'm going to play it once, then I'm going to hit the pause button, and I'm going to leave it up to you to decide whether you need it again.
Number 1.
And then probably, given the history, beating Federer on centre court in 2001, he wasn't perhaps as good as he is now, but certainly to have beaten him on centre court is pretty special.
Number 2.
My children and their friends, their friends say, "Oh, I love the bit when you did," and they are reciting lines that I've long forgotten. I'm like, "Oh my God, is that really what I said?" They're like, "Oh yeah," and then Jack does this, and then Rose does this. I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" But I say to them, you weren't born when that film was made.
Number 3.
So I started touring in vans, little vans, and playing like little venues and stuff like that when I was like 17 or 18. And so that was kind of where I'd like cut my teeth and learned how to do it. And when I joined Nirvana, it was sort of the same way. Like we were in a van playing small places that held 100 or 200 people. And then the band got really big really quick.
All right then, we are back after that. If you wanted to hear it twice, rewind. The clue is when 8 Audio 2 Mystery Voices pops up on the plinth. Once you've done that, rejoin us and I will take you through to question number 9. I ask you what process would make a cockerel into a capon or a capon? Capon? What process would make a cockerel into a capon? And another picture for question number 10, where the picture numbers meet the other numbers in a great number friends business. Number friends business. What a nice idea for a company. We have 4 odd ones out for you. Can you tell me the cuckoo in the nest out of Ben Stiller characters, UK Prime Ministers, things that are blue, and parrots? Bonus point to anyone who can pronounce the word after parrots to their own satisfaction. 4 points available on this. When I come back from the next pause, we will do the music round marking. Alrighty, let's just take a moment to have a look at how you did on the music round. Well, first off, in the 60s, I'm sure you all got Let's Go to San Francisco by the Flower Pot Men, a one-hit wonder for them. If you put Bill and Ben as the artist name, I'm afraid that is incorrect. No points for you. The 70s. The song was The Air That I Breathe. Did you remember that it is the Hollies? Hollies for a point, Air That I Breathe. Into the 80s, we had Money for Nothing. I believe Sting sings backing vocals on that one. He was just passing, or was some sort of story of this effect. Anyway, Money for Nothing. The backing vocal sounds an awful lot like Don't Stand So Close to Me if you listen for a second. It's Dire Straits. Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, 2 points. No bonus point for putting Sting in there. He is not credited. Into the 90s, it's the You and Me song by the Wannadies. Recognise the tune, no memory of the name. Did you do better than I did? Maybe so. Into the 2000s, we had Fluorescent Adolescent. The Chernobyl Story by the Arctic Monkeys. If you didn't put the Chernobyl Story, you can still have the point. That is Fluorescent Adolescent. And it's not really called the Chernobyl Story. And finally, into the 2010s, we had Future Islands, and the song is called Cave. What's more, that was Let's Go to San Francisco by the Flower Pot Men, The Air That I Breathe by the Hollies, Money for Nothing, Dire Straits, the You and Me song, the Wannadies, Fluorescent Adolescent by the Arctic Monkeys, and Cave by Future Islands. And we can move straight along from there to question number 11. Originally founded in Australia, the swimwear company Speedo uses which iconic tool as its logo? Originally founded in Australia, Speedo uses which iconic tool as its logo? On to picture 11, and we have some more red letter words for you. 6 acronyms or initialisms. Can you tell me what each of those red letters stands for a maximum of 6 points? Question 13. Who won the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award for a second time? Very well done, in 2020. Who won their second BBC Sports Personality of the Year award in 2020? And question number 14 takes us on to some cartoon character voices. Listen in, see whether you can identify these 3 people. I'll play them once, and then it's your business if you rewind it. Can't say fairer than that.
Number 1.
Come in, Star Command. Star Command, come in. Do you read me? Why don't they answer? My ship! Blast! This'll take weeks to repair.
Number 2.
Maddistone Avenue has the most expensive stores in Bedrock. That doesn't sound like Fred. Oh my, it's an exact match. Fred will never know.
Number 3.
Shut your big yap or I'll let you have another. Ah, what are you looking for, a fat lip? Suffering succotash.
Question 15 takes us on to picture number 12, and we have some paraphrased band names for you. 6 this week. Can you work out the answers to these cryptic clues? 6 points available. Question number 16. Renowned for her views on addiction, who became the First Lady of the United States in 1974 following the resignation of Richard Nixon? Renowned for her views on addiction, who became First Lady of the United States in 1974. Question number 17 takes us back to the pictures, and it's our penultimate picture of the day. We have some more missing vowels, and we are looking for a poet, surname, and poem combination. And there's 4 pairs of things. It's only 1 point for each pair. So 4 points available in total for this question. Question 18. The narrator in Herman Melville's Moby Dick shares his name with which biblical outcast? He was the son of Abraham and Hagar. The narrator in Herman Melville's Moby Dick shares his name with which biblical outcast? On to our final picture for this evening, and we've got some more coats of arms and or emblems for you. Can you name all 6 of these countries? They start with an N or a P. Name 6 countries, all starting with an N or a P. And our final question of today's round 2 in taxonomy. Not the 5 meat taxonomy. There's only 4 meats, as we all know. Human beings are not one of the meats. That would be awful. Human beings in taxonomy are classed in the genus Homo. In which order is this genus placed? No points if you write alphabetical. In taxonomy, human beings are classed in the genus Homo, but in which order is this genus placed? I should say that's the end of question 20, which means that we will shortly be going to the wipeout round. But I will just give you an extra moment here to decide how much more time you need. Talk amongst yourselves, pour a drink, go for a walk. You can do anything. It's late for a walk, isn't it, though? Maybe you're playing on a different day. Anyway, the point is you've got options. I'll be back in a mere moment in my time. Alrighty, remembering again that the pause button and the wipeout button are not compatible, so I will be using the wipeout logo for the rest of the quiz, and then we'll do the marking. So, here we go. Wipeout question 1 are coming. What A is the field of mathematics that derives its name from the Arabic for reunion of broken parts? What A is the field of mathematics that derives its name from the Arabic for the reunion of broken parts? Wipeout 2. Which city hosted the first Olympic Games at which Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt competed? Which city hosted the Olympic Games where Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt first competed? Wipeout question number 3. Which dessert, a layered pastry, usually with a sweet and fruity filling, takes its name from the German word for whirlpool? Which dessert, a layered pastry with a sweet fruity filling, takes its name from the German for whirlpool? Wipeout question 4. What word links a singer called John, a film about the Cray twins, and an album by Mob Barley? Mob Barley is presumably some sort of genetically modified crop protest. Bob Marley and the Wailers. What word links a singer called John, a film about the Cray twins, and an album by Bob Marley and the Wailers? Wipeout number 5. Named after the district in West Bengal where it is grown, what tea has been marketed as the champagne of teas? Or what tea is marketed as the champagne of teas? And finally, for this week's Quizcazoatl Lite, which 14th century author was the first poet to be interred in the area now known as Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey? Which 14th century author was the first poet to be interred in the area known as Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey? That's the end of the Wipeout, so take a moment, do as much thinking as you like. When I next come back, I'm going to be reading the round 2 and Wipeout answers. Okay then, let's get the round 2 answers done and we can all be on our way. Don't forget, if you would like to compare performance, share performance, compete with your colleagues in other teams who may or may not be playing at the moment, feel free to post your progress in the comments thread of this video. First off, for round 2, we had an anagram, rat trap wickets. It was Jean-Luc Picard himself. It was Patrick Stewart. Question 2. Our culinary nut in pesto is a pine nut. Question 3. 4 films from their initials, all of them with a colour. They were the Blues Brothers. Then Black Swan. Then we had Celebrity Flogathon, 50 Shades of Grey. And finally, Sean Connery mysteriously acting as a Russian with a Scottish accent in The Hunt for Red October. The Blues Brothers, A Black Swan, 50 Shades of Grey, and The Hunt for Red October for 4 points. Question 4, we had the daughter of a Duke, Marquess Renault. She is a lady, Lady such and such. If you just want to call her such and such, that's your business. Question 5, what informal term for a boss is the chief electrician on a film set? It is gaffer. Gaffer for the point there. Question number 6. We had 6 people to name, all photographed when they were younger, and they were Timothy Dalton, Penelope Cruz, Billy Joel, Sarah Silverman, Gareth Southgate, and promising young woman Carrie Mulligan. Timothy Dalton, Penelope Cruz, Billy Joel, Sarah Silverman, Gareth Southgate, and Carrie Mulligan. Question 7. The data storage items in jewel cases were compact discs. Compact discs. Question 8. Mystery voices. We had, still harking back to past glory, it's Tim Henman. Then, still harking back to past glory, it was Kate Winslet. And finally, harking back to past glory, it was Dave Grohl. 3 points there. Tim Henman, Kate Winslet, and Dave Grohl. Question 9. What process would make a cockerel into a capon? Sounds upsetting. It is castration, neutering, or words to that effect. Question 10. Our odd ones out. First off, Brian Fantana. Of course, the Sex Panther in Anchorman was played by Paul Rudd, not by Ben Stiller. Then James Naismith was never a British Prime Minister. He invented basketball. The E in the eBay logo is not blue, it is red. And finally, the toucan is not a parrot. It's a toucan. Or something. Question 11, we asked you what's the logo on Speedo. It is Boomerang. Boomerang. Then for question 12, we had some red letter words, and they were questions, as in Prime Minister's questions. Ultra, as in ultra low emission zone. We had B for back, as in be right back. Apparently that can also be bathroom break. So do as you will. Break or back. Don't break anyone's back. We then had near or nearest, I think nearest or nearest offer. Then Eastern, as in London North Eastern Railway. Hornby fans will all have got that. And finally, the EP was, of course, the extended play on a record. Questions: Ultra, back, nearest, Eastern, and extended for 6 points. Question 13, our double personality was Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, and then our 3 cartoon characters in the style of James T. Kirk. It was Buzz Lightyear. Off shopping was Wilma Flintstone. And finally, Sylvester the Cat, Sylvester James Pussycat Sr., apparently. 3 points for Buzz Lightyear, Wilma Flintstone, and Sylvester. Question 15, our paraphrase bands were the Pet Shop Boys first, then we had Metallica, ZZ Top, the bearded sharp-dressed men, then Linkin Park, Maroon 5, and finally The Script. That's 6 points for Pet Shop Boys, Metallica, ZZ Top, Linkin Park, Maroon 5, and The Script. Question 16, becoming First Lady of the United States in 1974, we had Bertie Ford. And then our missing vowels, poets and poems, we had Carol, as in Lewis Carroll doing the Jabberwocky. We had Eliot, The Wasteland. We had Burns, To a Mouse. And finally, we had Thomas, Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. Carol, Jabberwocky for 1. Eliot, The Wasteland for a 2nd. Burns, To a Mouse for a 3rd. And Thomas, Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night for a 4th point. 4 points there. Question 18, our narrator in Moby Dick is called Ishmael. And then for question 19, countries represented by the coats of arms were Nepal, New Zealand, Namibia, Pakistan, Panama, and Portugal. 6 points for Nepal, New Zealand, Namibia, Pakistan, Panama, Portugal. In taxonomy, human beings are classed, shouldn't have done Sean Connery earlier, classed in the genus Homo in the order of primates. So, final answers for the Wipeout round. Wipeout question 1. We asked which field of mathematics derives its name from the reunion of broken parts. That was algebra. The city that first hosted Usain Bolt in the Olympics was Athens. The dessert, layered with a sweet, fruity filling, is a strudel. The word linking John, the singer, the Cray Twins movie, and an album by Bob Marley and the Wailers was Legend. Named after the district in West Bengal where it is grown, the fanciest tea in the world is Darjeeling. And finally, the 14th century author first to be interred in Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey was Geoffrey Chaucer. Those wipeouts were algebra, Athens, strudel, legend, Darjeeling, and Geoffrey Chaucer. I feel like I forgot to explain the wipeout round this week. Most of you are regulars, so I'm sure you know. If you didn't know, I'm afraid if you got any of those 6 wipeout questions wrong, you lose all your wipeout points. That is the rule. But I guess we're not judging this week, so you can. If you didn't know, who are we to criticise? But strictly you lose all your points. But if you got all 6 correct, then get 2 bonuses for a maximum of 8 on the wipeout. Well, that is the end of Quizcazoatl Lite for another week. As I say, add up your scores if you would like to compare notes with your competitors, and be warned, the competition remains fierce. Do post it in the YouTube comments. Otherwise, I will be back in real life live next Tuesday at the same time. Do feel free to join us for another full Quizcazoatl then, with spot prizes, tiebreakers, and all of the rest of the to-do that I know you love. Stay safe. Get that second vaccination if you haven't had it yet. Get a first if you haven't had it yet. And just be nice to everyone. TTFN.